You do.
JR called today, he's in shock.
What's that?
JR called me today, he's in shock.
Oh,
when he got
got back?
So this is it tonight?
This is it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Larry's gone.
Hmm.
Amanda's gone too.
She's sick.
She's
Oh.
sick.
Oh.
And Mike's not back yet either.
Nope.
This is it. And I guess it's 7 o'clock, so I guess we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. And everybody have a chance to read the minutes of the last meeting. Anybody see any additions or corrections that we need to make? If there's no additions or corrections, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting?
So
Moved by Cale,
Second.
second by Dara. All in favor? Approved. Consent agenda. We need permission for clerk to renew First National Bank CD 18340 and 18355.
They're both 6-month CDs.
They're going to be 6 months.
Mhm.
So be it.
Been moved by Roger,
Second.
second by Dara. All in favor? Approved. Okay. I guess, Dave, you're here. Visitors, I'll give you a few minutes here. And
Just need a couple minutes, appreciate it. I'm here representing the other citizens that was here before about Valley Street. We just needed kind of an update.
Well, I'm not sure. JR was going to have Miller and Associates survey that.
He told me they did,
And
but what they looked at, sorry to interrupt, what they looked at was up there where it curves, if you guys are familiar with that.
yeah,
It starts at Larry Swigert's house and goes up and then it curves. And where the Miller and Associates guy was looking, he didn't even come down and look at this intersection. And that's our main concern right now. He just said that millings wouldn't work, and I know it wouldn't work there. It would wash that out something fierce unless you put a culvert in. But what I was wondering, and the rest of the citizens, is even up there by where Worms are and Bob Swigert, if you started there and came down to millings, just to do that. Or if you would consider, there is curb and gutter on both sides. If you go up and look at it, there's curb and gutter over here to the east where your place used to be, Roger, where the oil company is. It goes a little ways. There's curb and gutter there, and then Larry Swigert's goes up past that. So it's kind of on an angle that way. We were wondering if it would be possible, I know concrete's expensive, but if a person could put a layer of concrete in there, either curve it down to where it would wash that way, or curve it over to the curb and gutters on both sides, and go up to the end there. If you could at least do that, for the simple fact is, and I will tell you that I yelled at Larry Finley, and I went up and apologized later the other day. I turned that corner, and some lady was watching Cliff Simler build his house, and it had Colorado plates on it. I didn't run her down, but it scared the living bejesus out of me. I turned, and I stopped, because I seen she was looking back. She was even in this lane a little bit, and when she got to that intersection, she looked up at me, and her eyes were as big as a deer. Headlights, she slammed on her brakes, but there was sand there, and she slid way over. And if I wouldn't have been stopped, because I seen her coming, I would have turned that corner and hit her. And I even mentioned that, and it seems odd that that would have happened. It's been a while since we've been at the meeting, but I had said that that's very dangerous there. And if you guys would even consider, if the council would consider doing from curb and gutter to curb and gutter that area where the sand is. Because then when you turn that corner, it would be safe. A lot safer than it is now.
You mean turning
I
off?
think that would pacify everybody until Cliff Simler gets his house.
You mean turning off of First?
Yeah, First Street, you're coming
Yeah.
from my house, First
Right.
Street, and you're going
Turn
east.
right on
And I was
First.
turning right there at Larry Swigert's
Yeah.
house. And I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
that sand
sand, and
is deep.
it's all washed out all the
Yeah.
time, and it's just very dangerous. And I just came talking to the other citizens, and they said, it don't do any good to go, and I said it does, because we can speak and ask about these things, and see if something can be resolved, at least with that intersection from curb and gutter to curb and gutter, and to the, go right up to the, no, I think that's concrete, that's curb and gutter, or that's where it runs east and west, past the place you used to have, all the way down past Swigert. That's curb and gutter all the way down to the city office. So I was just asking if that would be possible, that we could do something soon. Because even if there's snow there, that's a lot worse, and it gets wet, that's worse. It's just gooey and slides. If it would be possible, I don't know what kind of expense, I know you guys are busy on other streets at the moment, but I didn't know what it would take to just take a machine and dig out that sand and put in either concrete or millings.
Wonder how far you'd have to go to make a difference, like back from
From First Street.
From
Well,
first.
That curb and gutter, at least on the east side, this goes the width of that lot.
Yeah,
And I want to say that's 65 feet.
50 to 65 feet, I think you're right. But you see what I'm saying? And now I think that's got a driveway in there too. So the curb and gutter starts and goes a little way, and it goes down to a driveway type, and then goes up the curb and gutter a little bit more. But it's just, if you guys would consider that, we'd really appreciate it. It'd get a lot safer intersection where you turn.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thanks,
okay.
Dave.
Thank you.
Cody.
Yeah, I know a lot of sand washers out there, but
I'm afraid that's not a bad idea, but I don't know how much sand would wash up on it.
what, sand's gonna wash up onto that, on,
Yeah,
on that
it'd be just
cement.
what he's saying.
Yeah, and then it can still be
But
an
it is
issue.
rubber call. I could dig it out to about 65 feet.
Yeah, or even a long approach to that intersection, maybe put down some rock. Then
I don't know how well a guy can pack that acid, that millings.
We're gonna find out
yeah.
this winter. They packed the heck out of those 2 blocks in there.
Yeah, up there, they,
That's on a hill.
yeah.
I think they're concerned that probably if snow gets on and stuff up there, we'll have to pick them up and
Yeah.
sweep it back. I thought it packed really good.
Yeah, that up there's packed pretty hard. Right now, it looks like it's packed hard, that it would shed the water off. I mean, it'll still probably try to cut a little bit into there, but at least if we can get through the next year and then finish that project. But over here on this Valley Street, I just don't know what the solution is either. And it's kind of, in some ways, you know, Larry Schweigert's put up with that for how many years?
Yeah.
And to have that sand out there, I would be tired of it.
Yeah.
But then also you've got
Now,
Cliff building a new little house there too, and
So maybe if you could curb and gutter or something, maybe.
You might want to, yeah. Who knows?
It might not be that bad a deal to dig out that curb and gutter, or dig down and get 6
Yeah.
inches. So I'm gonna make the intersection nice.
Yeah, it couldn't hurt, that's for sure.
yeah, because I think
Because it is kind of,
we got to get dug down at least that much and then start packing it in
Right.
really hard. Because if you just put 2 inches on top, we're doing pretty
If
good.
you think we
get
could
that
get the
glacier-
county involved to help us out there?
That might possibly could be.
They, if you get that stuff from Brett Pauling out there, I got quite a bit of it up at my place, and that stuff packed on it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I can find J.R. tomorrow, see if, maybe what he can figure out, and maybe even see if Dave would be involved and see what we can do
Yeah.
with that street to help it out.
Because they got 2 different kinds of millings up there. I mean, there's a fine and then a coarser one. I mean, we bought some over there on the east side, we bought through the county, too.
I don't know if we got that far or not.
What do we use by the roadside park and museum?
That was the little coarser stuff.
Yeah, and the county brought that in, and I thought that's what they were gonna get used, we was gonna get some more of that.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it from Highway, 265?
161?
161?
Yeah.
Is that what they put over there on Lorraine Street too, the county? Or
On Lorraine Street?
Lorraine?
Yeah, I'd say that was pretty coarse up there too. And Dave said the other day he hasn't sent us a bill for half of it yet.
Yeah.
I said, that's all right, Dave. Well, I'll see if I can get ahold of JR in the morning and see if we can look at that street again, figure out what we can do, maybe get Dave something involved too, and see what we can do.
Sounds good.
Okay, Cody, you're up.
Right, I got the standard police report, and then I was wondering if we can talk in executive session about non-elected personnel at some point during our conversation. The top one is what Jonathan has done. Okay, I might not have it. But one of them says SO in PD zone, so that's what the sheriff's office did. And the other one that doesn't say that is what Jonathan has done as the loan officer at the police department. So that's the statistics since the last time we gave you a report.
And I don't know if everybody heard that the band shell and the restrooms got
Oh, yeah, we got tagged.
tagged.
Really?
Yeah,
Yep.
and we had,
Those again?
No.
Yeah.
Did they break any windows?
no,
They
not
just
that aware of.
painted
No.
it. Painted on
Just
the
painted,
tank.
and we've had some stuff. The same night, we had some natural gas equipment out there tagged too on that curvy road I call it the Jackrabbit Road. Comes across from the old landfill and around.
Oh,
okay.
So obviously it's old enough kids, they have wheels to go around. So I know we're working on it. So there's a little bit more evidence out there, because I believe there's some initials spray painted out there that some of them don't match our student enrollment forms, but there's a couple that do that we're going to plan on talking to them and just openly saying, hey,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
So
Does anybody have any questions on the?
What's a worthless check?
worthless checks,
Like
that's bad
bad checks?
checks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Historically, we've always done that at the sheriff's office. The PD hasn't
Yeah.
really done the bad check cases, but it's on our stats. So there was 13 bad checks. And, it's been, you can always tell the economy when you work in the sheriff's office by how many papers you're serving and how many bad checks cases we've had.
Yeah.
The last couple of months have been pretty. Now, I will tell you 7 of those is the same person. So,
Whoa.
so there were seven bad checks. So.
Jeez.
Wow.
Isn't that a
No,
good
it-
crime?
Yes.
Seven.
Well, after your third subsequent conviction, they become a felony.
Wow.
So you do individual case, so all 7 checks would be an individual case, so he gets convicted of 1, gets convicted of 2, gets convicted of 3, number 4 would be a felony.
Whoa.
So, and, all of our local businesses, by the time bad check gets to the sheriff's office, most of our local businesses are very patient with people, have called them, tried to work with them, We don't have any businesses that just come in on the first day and say, here, somebody just came back from the bank.
Yeah.
Most of them are fairly patient, so.
And how do you feel it's working for you guys?
Well, I know nobody's in here, but just so that, I'd kind of like to talk about that in
Oh.
That
executive
would be
session.
executive.
So,
I don't know why we couldn't do it right now. We don't have-
Yeah.
Well, for the minutes, I have to have an executive session motion.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying where we don't have anybody in here, so.
How much time you need?
5 minutes.
Making a motion to go into executive session for 5 minutes at 7:13 till 7:18 for discussion of non-elected personnel. Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
For, what's the topic?
Probably personnel matters, employee discipline.
Okay. And bear with me,
Yep.
I'll stop my recording.
Do you feel like the response time, you probably work with
Okay, sorry.
We had an issue the other day. Luckily, nothing happened during that time, but I called Jonathan, had him come over. We had to take a prisoner back to Ray. He had court in Cheyenne County. We went to Ray, the Union County Jail, got him, brought him down for court, got to take him back. He got done with court about the same time that the pig tones went off for that fatality accident south of town. I had Jonathan take him back. But, you run into situations like that where, I had Jonathan go into Ray, 3 county deputies were, it takes 20 minutes to get out there, or 20 minutes to get back into town. Luckily, nothing happened, but we would have had a slow response time that day. Nothing happened, but I think you're always going to have incidences like that, because had you guys had a fully staffed police department, most likely that case would have been yours anyways, because it was an arson in town, so they probably would have been doing the prisoner transports anyways, irregardless. We had an alarm the other night at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I thought we had a fairly decent response time out of the Dollar General. It ended up being a stray cat that got into the store and set off the motion detectors, but...
Is that what the word?
Yeah, that's Dollar General's alarm.
That's how bad it was. It woke me up.
It's
I
loud.
can't hear.
Well, I hate it because when you go in there when their alarm's going off, you can't hear your surroundings. You're looking for somebody, and you can't even hear somebody start scurrying down an aisle. You can't hear it because it's like 80 decibels. It's like a Deep Purple concert in there. Just whack, 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 whack. Somebody could knock down a shelf of stuff and you wouldn't hear it.
I heard that.
I did. It woke me up, and I kept thinking, what is it?
And then it took forever because she had to call the company manager and say, I'm here with law enforcement, we checked everything's fine, for them to get it to shut off. She can't just push the button. Dollar General headquarters, where they have their security, has to be the one that shuts that down. So it went off for quite a while. What night was that? That was, was it Friday night? No, it was Thursday night. I had to come to work the next day, Thursday night. So, but it was I thought our response time was pretty decent to get to that alarm for 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was a pretty good response time. So.
Does that ring in the courthouse?
No, Dollar General's security will call the court, our number, and tell us it's going off. So, and then they call the store manager too and tell her it's going off. So, yeah, that thing is loud. So, but yeah, there's a lot of people told me, what was going on at 3? That's a weird cop siren. It sounds like almost like a European cop siren. Like that, and they're like, what was up with that? And I'm like, it was an alarm. But, on the clerk of court position in the police department office manager, we've gotten hold of the state. They had an NCIC computer terminal in there. We did not shut it off, but we did get it rolled over. So all the messages that would have gone to the St. Francis Police Department now go to dispatch. We've got it so you can't log into it until somebody would get reassigned that, because the clerk of court was the only person who had the access to it. So we've got it kind of locked down so nobody can break in the police department, or Jonathan can't sit there and use it. Because there's real strict federal laws on that. So we have it shut down to the point that it's safe. We didn't go ahead and shut it off because we had signed everything and everything. I didn't want to leave that roadblock. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get them again once you shut them off. So, but it is safe. It is shut off. It's secure, and everything is rolling over into our dispatching message and getting. So we spent the afternoon. He called me and told me, and I spent the afternoon getting that kind of stuff done, taken care of. He gave me a list of things. That firearm thing with the federal government we were going through, he told me where everything was at, what needed to be done, and what state it was at. And the only thing that we may have a problem with is on the computer. I don't know what we're going to do. Lila talked to me a little bit about this today. On the Interpool, there's a server over there. I talked to Interpool over what we can do and how we can do it. to get everything moved over, because Johnson still needs to use it at this point to create cases and things like that. But I'm trying to find out a straight answer of how we could seamlessly just transfer all of that over into our stuff. I got him logged out, so he can't log into that remotely from home or anything like that, just to cover everybody's rear. I did that. So everything is shut down secure. We're going to have the door lock combination. All that, everything should be secure over there. So
I have one thing to say on that.
yes.
So I've been talking about just the municipal court part of it, which is kind of separate from the NCIC stuff.
Yes, and I don't know a whole lot about that.
So the municipal court stuff is what Jamie did, what Desiree did. They didn't have anything to do with this NCIC.
No.
So that's police department.
Yes,
Right.
that I did not shut down, because I don't know anything about that or
Right.
what it is.
And that is on one PC over there, and Matt Wilson can move that for free over to my office. It's one PC, and it's got the municipal court stuff on it. And that's what we're going to need moving forward. It makes no sense for it to be over there. If whoever's doing the job, whether it's me or if we hire somebody, and that's a later discussion, but that's one PC and those two monitors I was telling you about. But I wanted to make it sure I understand this NCIC stuff that you're talking about. As a municipal court clerk,
No.
I don't need access to
You
that.
don't need access to it. What you would do is, if the clerk or the city attorney needs it for some reason, they just come and get it from us,
Okay.
and we print it off. Anything you guys may need, that's what happens at district court anyways. The county attorney doesn't have access to it. Natalie doesn't have access to it. They come and make a request, we print it off, say, here you go. At the city clerk level, Mike's going to probably make those requests as the prosecutor and get that information for the clerk of the court, because he's going to need it before the clerk of the court does anyway. So it'll just be transferred on, whatever needs to be done. And then when you guys have something, say something goes through, you guys will send your dispositions in, I don't know what the process is that the court does, and then it gets entered in NCIC at the state level. So if somebody gets convicted of a crime in municipal court, we don't enter those convictions locally anyways. So that gets all entered in at the state level anyway. So there's no reason for the clerk of court to have NCIC.
I'm relieved to hear that.
Yeah. So the only thing that's kind of left in limbo was the clerk of court software, because I didn't know, and it's proprietary, it's not a certain federal regulated thing, so I didn't know what to do, and it's not that sensitive. I mean, it is, but it's not ultra sensitive like the NCIC and stuff like that is. So it's still operational on that computer. And obviously, that computer up front is not needed for the running of the police department, so it can be moved, and it's not going to affect the operational day-to-day. The server for right now, until we get the contract signed and everything, I do know it needs to stay there until we get everything done and we move that Interpol system over to our system. And from that point on, I don't think we'll need it. I don't want to bet my life on it, but I don't think we'll need it. But I've been talking to Lila about it, what we're going to do with it. Like I said, I can't foresee that we would need it, but, and I think she has a use for it, so.
Possibly. We had talked about upgrading all of our computers maybe next year. If that would work for us, it would make sense to keep it. But I haven't checked with our software vendor yet, so I don't know.
And that might be a question for Wilson, too, to see, what can be done to scrub it clean, because there's already a lot of memory getting taken up, and then you clean it to get it used for years.
And that might be the key right there. You guys may just need to take it because of what's on it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not 100% saying we don't need it, but we might. I don't know. But I'm big into, I like using workstations that go to a server. Instead of buying high-dollar computers, I buy cheaper workstation computers and spend my money buying servers. That's what I usually do. So we have the server room at the sheriff's office, just a matter of, it's just going to be easier to take the machine over there, or whether we can get that information extracted and just download it onto our server. So that's going to be the question. And I'm still talking to Interpool about that. And it seems like you talk to one person, they send you to another, and they send you to another, and then, oh, I don't take care of that part. So that we're still muddling through. But other than that, everything's been going good on my side as far as I know. Although your side,
Do you think you'll ever need to use any of this? So you might want to use the holding
the holding cell from that door back, I don't know if that's something, maybe put a door in there or something, but from the bathroom doors back, I'd like to use, but the rest of it,
You probably won't ever need
I
any
won't
of
use it.
that.
I won't need to use it, so.
I don't know what we'd use it for. It'd probably just set empty, but that's fine.
Mayor's office.
Hey,
We like our office to be moving.
So, but, yeah, I mean, that holding cell is awful convenient, because the other option the other day was, if we could have got Jonathan to transport back to Ray, we would have had to take him over here and just lock him down and then gone out.
That's fine. I mean,
Don't you have to have somebody in here who's logged in?
I could find somebody to sit there and watch the prisoner. That's easier, you know, an off-duty dispatcher or something like that to sit there. Because it doesn't have to be a cop, somebody just has to watch him, you know. I could find somebody like that fairly easy most of the
You
time.
just well use it because we went to the expense to build the crazy thing, so.
That's probably the most it's been used.
Yeah.
It wasn't stolen.
Well, Darrell cleaned it out so we could use it. It was full of stuff, and I asked Darrell about using it. We started, all the jails are full right now because the state's not taking their revoked probation violators to the state DOC level. If they're under 120 days, they're making them stay in the county jail, and it's filling every county jail in western Kansas up. So, you know, the further we go, we got prisoners in Oberlin right now. We had to take them to Scott City. The further we go and we go get them for court, it's a lot easier just to house them here for an afternoon and then take them
We
back.
need to build a jail.
You do, but right now we're spending just a little around $80,000 a year on housing the jail and prisoners, and the way my math is, it takes about $138,000 a year to break even on our own jail. But as anything else, you know those numbers are going to grow. So in another 5 years, because when you build a jail, it's going to take you a year or two to build something, just like any construction project. You're already behind the numbers. And as Thomas County learned, they built their jail on the 10-year-old information. If they had an architect come through and they did all the survey and everything else, and then they messed around, they didn't build a jail. 10 years later, they decided, let's build a jail. They built a jail that already, they have more prisoners than there is beds in their new jail. So they built a jail that was too small for them anyways, because the information they built the jail on was 10 years old. But they also say, I had an old sheriff tell me, the greatest thing a sheriff can do for his community is build a new jail. But it will also be the last thing he does for his community. so I get a little hesitant when it says, hey, we need to build a new jail. Like, yeah, we kind of do. But, you know, any multi-million-dollar project, you guys know that from the projects you guys do. Any new building project is going to be heavily criticized, you know. So you got to think it through and try to do the best you can. So, any other questions for me or anything?
Thank you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Anything you guys want to see? I know this last probably week and a half has been rough getting into the school zone in the morning. That's just because, you know, it just, like I said, law enforcement's a revolving door, and, you know, we've got openings right now, too. So it's been we're still trying to get here, but it's been a little bit of a struggle. So, and I did make Jonathan start going to home football games. I just thought it was good PR if he'd show up to the game for a little bit and walk around and stuff. So they did seem receptive of that and did that. So if there's anything else you guys think we ought to be doing, I'm here to listen. We do have plenty going on. It seems like there's something. So
Catch the rabbits.
yeah. That's,
That's your bags.
yeah, I know John is leaving, the 31st is his last day, my deputy, and he's the one that had that case, and he told me he's going to work like hell to get it released somewhat solved before he leaves on the 31st, so he better kick it. I hear he doesn't have too many more days left.
Yeah.
All right, thank you,
Okay,
Jeff.
thank you.
See ya.
I think we're making the right decision here.
Okay.
I mean, Cody seems to be on top of stuff,
Yeah.
really on top of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's still some people out there think we should never have done
I haven't heard it, heard it.
that. So there's a few, not, they don't say to us, they say to somebody else, you know, stuff, that kind of stuff. But we're doing the right thing. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Scott, do we need a motion to accept his report?
Oh, yes, do I hear a motion to accept and file the police report? Moved by Roger, second by Cale, all in favor. Okay, nothing in new business, old business, street project, I guess J.R. not here, we're not gonna know too much about it, or the electrical infrastructure tonight, property cleanup. Not much on that.
Moving right along.
Basically good.
Project pending.
Did that up there in the county office, did that cost much?
I don't know, we haven't got a bill for it yet.
I didn't know.
We haven't got a bill for Lorraine Street, and we haven't got a bill for over there,
Oh.
so I don't know what kind of bill we're gonna have. Usually they're pretty decent about it.
Yeah.
And I guess we gotta look at the fact that they didn't charge us anything for the roadside park or that in front of the EMS building or that. Of course, the EMS building is kinda county controlled now anyway. It's our building, but still, Dave's pretty good about that. I think he'll, hopefully it won't be too bad.
Any bids on tree removal?
I think we decided we couldn't do anything until we get the grant, right?
Right.
Oh, okay.
He was gonna talk to Miller and Associates, I think,
Right.
when he gets back from vacation. and-
Try to get
Wait till January.
a time frame. Now, I think there's some trees that probably could come out before that, but if once JR knows that, we could get bids, those companies, whoever did it, could come in and start taking out some of them. Now, the ones that are out in the street, I think they're gonna have to wait till right before we do construction for them. They could take the tree down, but they just wouldn't be able to rip out the street and stuff.
That one never curtains.
Yeah. And I had a phone call on that last night about that. I think there's somebody interested in buying that house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they was asking about it, and I said, the tree would be taken care of by the city, but they'll have to pay for the curb and gutter and so forth. On trees, and we can talk about that later too, when JR was mentioning putting new trees in the park, let's apply for a grant. I think we can get a grant for that.
Pretty locally?
Through the local foundation.
Yeah, I bet so.
Because that will go to improving the park
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. So the guy that mentioned that, he's on that board too. He said, are you getting grant money to take out these trees up for the streets? And I said, no, I don't think we're probably getting money for that. But then as we kept talking, I said, well, could we get grant if we're putting it in a park? Because they're going to look at what does it do for the community, not for the individual. And so that's kind of a community project. So once we get ready, because I told him, I said, well, what better when we do that, buy some good established trees that go in, 20 foot tall or 30 foot tall, whatever they are.
So for the grant, all we really need are those costs
Right.
and some firm quotes on that, and then we can do
So
that.
once we get close to that, we need to turn in the grant for that.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then, we don't have a Keller Pond Committee report. No building permits. Clerk report.
So I got a panic email from Justine, so the grant deadline is Friday, and we are feverishly working on it, but these two documents, this resolution 2019-9 and then this determination of level of review, these are part of the application. She realized that she had put the wrong amounts, dollar amounts in here for what we would be getting bonds for. The original amount that she had was $812,510, and it should have been $812,110. So all we need is a motion for the mayor to sign these updated documents, and I'll get these back to her tomorrow.
That kind of money?
You know, those apparently are some of the details that they look at when they're looking at your application. So it's just a motion for him to sign those two, and then we will backdate that one.
Okay. Kale made the motion.
Second.
Second by Derek. All in favor? Approved.
And I can't remember, Scott, I can date that for you. It was September something, but I don't remember when we actually approved those. And then just a reminder that November 11th, Monday, November 11th is a holiday, federal holiday, so the next council meeting is going to be on Tuesday the 12th, 7 o'clock. Jen has her work anniversary is tomorrow, and she has 13 hours of vacation yet to use, and I'd like to request permission for her to carry those over. She'll use them up pretty fast. She's got some stuff
Your
coming up.
motion to approve that. So moved by Kale. Second by Roger. Everybody's good with that?
Okay. I got a very nice thank you letter from some campers I'd just like to read to you. I ran into this gentleman when I was collecting payments up there and had a really nice conversation with him. He says, "My wife and I have been privileged to stay in your town park campground several times on our travels from Greeley to various destinations in the east over the last 15 years. We've never paid any fees, and we greatly appreciate the generosity of the community in providing such a hospitable facility. On our most recent visit, I had a chance to visit with the town clerk about the recent improvements. We have never used the power you are now supplying to some sites, but the restroom and dump station have been very convenient. We were most impressed by the addition of the magnificent tornado shelter. Thank you for the kindness and concern you have for the traveling public. Charles and Catherine Olmsted." And they sent a donation of $100 for the outside park. He was a very nice gentleman.
Well, it's like that email. Did you send that out? Yeah, everybody on how much was collected up
Yeah.
there?
That's amazing.
Of course, the one was from the roofing company, but still, that was kind of amazing. So, I mean, that right there will pay for putting Wi-Fi up there if we're wanting to do it.
Yeah, there was some guy in a car in a tent that was up there all last week.
Yeah,
Through that
I saw that.
windstorm.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, and they keep the tent there, and hope he had a floor in it, and he was holding it.
Wow.
It is well used, and it's really amazing. I mean, so far this year we've had $1,300 just this year, and that's, just people coming and going, so.
They didn't get back. Did they check on that Wi-Fi cost?
I have not heard that from them, no.
I didn't know they
No.
replied back.
I haven't heard. Two more things, but one of them, I'm going to ask for an executive session for non-elected personnel to discuss employee resignation. But then when we come back out, I've got one more thing I need to ask for. And that's all I have.
Okay. So, we're doing executive session for...
Oh, 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes ought to be enough.
So, it's 8:46, 47, so 8:52 for non-elected personnel
For employee resignation.
or employee resignation. Hear that motion?
I'll make it.
Roger, Kale.
Yes, hold on. Okay. Out at 8:52.
Okay, so we need a motion to accept Matt's resigning. Do I hear a motion? Moved by Kale, second by Derek, all in favor?
So with all that done, I have just taken the bull by the horns. I've gotten access to the Summit software. I've made contact with some clerks in the community. Atwood uses the same software. Goodland uses the same software. I can get with them and they can show me how to use the software and do what it is I need to do. Currently, there's only 4 active cases, and only one of those is truly active. So it's not going to be overwhelming right now at this point in time for me to figure it out and learn how to do it. There's 2 advantages to me doing it right now. One, we need it done right now. And then secondly, it's a good idea to have somebody cross-trained. So in the future, if we decide to hire somebody else to fill that position, and then that person leaves, I will always be here or until I resign. There's another person that knows how to do the job. And then we're not in a bind of trying to find somebody. So with that said, I am going to move that computer over because it's password protected. I'm the only one that would have the password. So Jen wouldn't be able to get into it. I'm going to bring the files over and put them in a locked file cabinet. And I will be the only one that has a key to that because that's also where I keep the drug information. So all that information is secured. And I was relieved to hear Cody talk about the NCIC stuff because that was a concern of mine. I didn't want to take on that. So if I don't have to do any of that, I don't think it's going to be an overwhelming job. Unless they start writing a lot of tickets, and then it could get that way. So what I'd like you guys to think about is what you want to do moving forward. Do we want to hire just a municipal court clerk? Which would be, I can't imagine anybody only wanting to work 4 hours a week. Do we want to hire somebody part-time? Do we want to hire a full-time person, which is what Matt would have been doing? Do you want me to just try to do it for a while and see how it goes? Those are things that you guys can think about.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that you was appreciating the fact that somebody would be over here working half a day?
Yes, I don't feel like there's enough work over here for a full-time person, even with the municipal court clerk stuff. However, I probably could get a lot of things. I could probably make a full-time job out of it, but I will say it's not a full-time job that is, in my opinion, the salary that he was being paid would not be what I would consider an appropriate salary for an office assistant type position. So
part-time person in here to help you and Jen both would probably work.
that'd be great.
Well.
That'd be great if we can find somebody that's willing to work
Yeah.
part-time.
Yeah.
20 hours a
20
week.
to 25 hours.
Yep. I mean, that would be great, because that would be 20 hours a week would be enough to alleviate some of the burden that we have now. That would be perfect. 40 hours, I'm not sure that I can keep a person busy that
Well,
way.
we can always up it if I need it.
Yeah.
That's true.
Right.
Start them at part-time.
Do we want to try to advertise for
Yeah.
a part-time person? I think we should. So, if everybody in agreement, go ahead and let Lila go ahead and advertise for a part-time person, and then when they come in, then she can let us know if she has found somebody. Because it'll probably take a while to find somebody that she's going to be pleased with and everybody's going to like for a part-time job. But we never know, there might be somebody out there.
Do you want this person to do the municipal court clerk job, or do you want them to just relieve enough off of me, or do we want to play that by ear?
Well, why don't you make that decision as you go on? I just assume you probably took care of it for right now.
I think I can do a good job at
And
it.
then,
You don't need a judge.
And executioner.
Judge,
No,
jury.
no. Just the
Black and
clerk.
white. Lila.
No.
I don't get a ticket.
I know somebody's been looking for a job in town, and she'd probably be a pretty good person, but I think she's been looking for a full-time job, but she might be tickled to death just with a half-time job.
I'll advertise.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll mention it to her because she volunteers at the museum a lot. That you're going to be advertising a part-time job.
and I will touch base with Mike as soon as he gets back with court stuff. I mean, it is, there's a lot to it. The manual is 400 pages long, just the manual, which I'll start reading and see what I can figure out. Oh, and so the other thing I needed permission was to join, I would like to join the Kansas Association for Court Management. It's a $50 membership fee annually. She did say that joining now with our situation, it would carry through to the end of 2020 for me. The big advantage to joining this for me is they have, like our clerk links email, they have the same thing for court, and when I have questions, I can just shoot an email out and get an answer. For whatever reason, Matt was not a member of this, Desiree was, but if I could please join that, that would be very helpful.
Your motion is approved. Joining the $50?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Moved by Roger, second by Cale and Barrett. It passed.
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay. That's it? Well, I should have told Cody too, that ever since Matt did this last Wednesday, Cody jumped in and Lila jumped in and started taking over, thank goodness. Because, I mean, there's things there that, it just had to be done.
Mhm.
And Cody was really good about it too. So,
Yes, he was.
thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion to accept and file the clerk report? Moved by Cale,
Second.
second by Darrell, all in favor. Council comments, Cale.
Nothing here.
Roger?
Nothing.
Darrell? Okay. I don't have anything either, so do I hear a motion to adjourn? Moved by Cale. Second by Roger.
We want to stay here.
Nobody
while
else
we're-
really want to stay.
Yeah.
Nothing off.
I will try to get